So you are going to absolutely love today's episode with my buddy Brian. I was grateful and honored to be on his program, and it was just only right to return the favor just because we were so in sync with our messages. And he's a peak performance coach. He's a peak performer himself, and he's going to talk to you guys today all about how to reach your peak potential in everything that you do. And don't forget, if you haven't joined yet, head over to Facebook and search Network Marketing Leads for Life under groups. Join. It's where I share daily tips, takeaways, and actionable things that you can do to grow your network marketing business. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you there. Welcome to the Network Marketing Made Simple podcast. I am your host, Scott Aaron, and each and every week I'm going to come to you with short, simple, and powerful tactics of how you can grow your network marketing business, brand, bank account, and impact on those around you. And just remember, network marketing is not easy, but it can be made easy with simple steps to create the success that you truly deserve. So Brian, welcome to today's episode. And I truly am so grateful and blessed to be able to have this podcast. And I always love sharing with the audience, wherever you're listening from, how I end up meeting these amazing people. And Brian was actually basically through 6 degrees of separation, a great friend of mine, Cindy Walter, connected us. She became friends with Brian, and she reached out to me and she said, "You got to connect with this guy. He's amazing. You guys could do some stuff together." And Brian and I connected, and I was grateful and fortunate enough to be on his show. And we had immediate synergies outside of our haircuts. We are we are cut from the same cloth. And I just wanted to continue the conversation, but obviously return the favor to have him on my show. And so number one, Brian, thank you so much for being here. And number two, for my audience that is not familiar with you and the work that you do, but more importantly, how you got to where you are, just share a little bit of who Brian Kelly is and what was that moment for you? And you have such a great backstory, but what was the entrepreneurial spark moment for you that has led you down this path of self-discovery and everything that you're doing to impact the world?
My goodness. Thank you so much, Scott. It's an honor and a privilege to be on your podcast. Yeah, we did hit it off pretty well. You're like a brother by another mother. It's a joy to talk to you and collaborate with you. Yeah, the entrepreneurial journey, it's been a long one and a really great one. It wasn't always that way. I started out in corporate, knew immediately I didn't want to stay there. And lo and behold, 25, 30 years later, finally, I got this idea about entrepreneurship early on and immediately wanted out. And it took years and years and years to figure this whole thing out. And one of the keys to getting out was just showing up to networking events, to seminars, to boot camps that were entrepreneurial based. And I noticed that these people were different than what I was used to hanging out with in the corporate world. And I liked these different people. It was like being in another family setting. I felt at home there. So I knew I was in the right place. So just diligence and perseverance and nonstop work, a lot of it, work all day at a corporate job, come home and work all night into the morning and wash, rinse, repeat. So takes a lot of hustle, but if you want it bad enough, it can be achieved. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I love entrepreneurship. I love taking risks. I love everything that goes with it. And it's not for everybody. And we get that, right? But for those that it is, and you have that burn, that itch, then just jump in, dive in, start reading books, go to networking events, seminars, talk to Scott, talk to myself, find a mentor, find a coach, and get with it, because time's a wasting. Let's go change some lives.
Yeah, it's you touched on so many different things in just that short 3 minutes, and perseverance was one of them. But before we get into that, I want to talk about entrepreneurship from a 10,000-foot view, because I couldn't agree with you more. It's not for everyone. And entrepreneurship is at an interesting time right now where we are in 2020. It's evolved tremendously in the last 10 years. If we go back to 2010, what entrepreneurship was compared to where it is now in 2020, it's, I mean, you know, Eric Worre released a movie a few years ago called The Age of the Entrepreneur. And I think that was released in 2016, 2017. And even in just those 3 to 4 years, entrepreneurship has changed again. So, in your own opinion, what does entrepreneurship from a business standpoint mean to you? And second to that, why do you feel it's not for everyone?
Oh, the one feeds right into the other. Entrepreneurship is all about flexibility, and change not only is inevitable, it's going to happen each and every day, and you must be ready for it. And it's not about the circumstances that are presented in front of you. And you know, you don't want to let the circumstances control your attitude. Just turn that around and have your attitude control your circumstances, because no matter what goes on in life, things are going to happen to you. And it's not about what happens to you, it's how you react to them. And so the key to entrepreneurship is flexibility, number one. And that is, you know, what are you going to do in the face of adversity? What are you going to do in the face of victory? And just get in the habits of reacting in ways that are problem solving reactions, and continue to practice that craft. And you can learn all this easily by reading appropriate books, by, again, going to seminars, getting mentors and coaches like you, Scott, the people that know and have been through this, that can help lift you up. And that's the other thing. Don't go it alone. Get a coach, get a mentor. You'll be struggling for decades like I did. Please don't go down that path. Get a coach or mentor immediately. I've got them now. And that is the way. There's so many ways to succeed in entrepreneurship. It's a multifaceted vocation, if you will. And that's part of what I love about it. The variety is immense, and it's never ending. And with a corporate job, there is no variety. It's go punch a clock and perform your robotic duties and go home and collect a paycheck and feel like that did not fulfill me. But I hope that answered your question.
No, absolutely did. And so for the, you know, I mean, this podcast is entrepreneur based. So I have a lot of network marketers, a lot of business coaches, a lot of people wanting to be an entrepreneur. They just don't know where to start. And that leads me to my next question. Where, for someone that does have that entrepreneurial itch that they want to scratch, and they're just not sure what they want to do, whether it's joining a network marketing company, whether it's starting their own coaching program, doing a drop shipment company, Shopify, Etsy, where's the best place for someone to begin to get a clearer path or vision of what they do want to create?
Yeah, you know, I don't think there is a correct place to start. You just have to start. And for me, it was literally going into network marketing. This was, my goodness, probably 3 decades ago at least. Yes. And I learned a lot by going through that process. And that's what I look back at it on it as, is a learning process. And that's what, you know, that's key to everything in life, is as you're going through it. A lot of people will call certain things failures. I call them learning moments. Yeah, you didn't succeed maybe in that business, but you succeeded in what you learned. And now you know what to do differently going forward. And it can be a process depending on where you start. And the other thing is it's very, very important to love what you do. You'll hear this a lot about, you know, be passionate. You need passion. You must be very passionate about what you're working with. And there are two sides to that fence, and I've heard both sides of the story. And I'm now convinced that you must be passionate about it. Some say you don't need to be. I think you do, because what drives you when you get up in the morning? When I woke up, you know, it's early for me this morning talking to you, Scott. We're on different coasts, and I was excited. I was excited to be alive. I was excited to take on the day. This was one scheduled part of my day. The rest of the day, I'm going to be working on in the trenches, producing an info product that I'm working on, and I can't wait. I'm excited. And if you're not excited about what you do, then it's going to be a much more difficult road to hoe, and much more difficult to achieve the success you want and deserve. So you just keep going. I thought I was passionate about fitness industry, and I am, but not as passionate. I found out 1 year ago, after 7 years of a fitness business, that I'm more passionate about business automation and doing live shows and all of the things that go with that. and I'm more happy now than I've ever been. And my business has started thriving far more in 1 year than my previous one did in 7 years. So passion is a big part of it.
I can so agree because, took a little bit longer for me to figure out that where my passion was. And I spent 18 years, almost 19 years between 3 gyms and being a personal trainer and all that. And then kind of network marketing got me out of it. And I didn't realize, but my true passion was teaching human connection.
Mm.
And I adapted and changed, and I now teach human connection on social media, as you know, and a lot of my listeners know, on LinkedIn. And just like you, what my business has achieved, not just in the last 12 months, but in the last 36 months. Um, I launched in February of 2016. So it's incredible where your business can go when you know exactly what you want to do. Because a lot of people, they're going through life and they may not necessarily be truly passionate about what they're doing. They're doing it just because they think that's what they should be doing right now. But where I wanted to go back to is something that you mentioned very early on, which is perseverance.
Mm.
And you and I both know life, just like entrepreneurship, is not a straight line. It's a roller coaster, just like Darren Hardy says. Talk about perseverance, not just in life, but more importantly in entrepreneurship. And when you can learn how to overcome, and when you can learn how to use that perseverance in your favor, what what's possible with what you're doing with your business.
Yeah, a really important part about perseverance is, first of all, having some degree of certainty that you're going in the direction that's going to get you to the finish line. Without that, then a lot of people will fall off the perseverance wheel, so to speak, me included. And so it's very, very important that whatever you start to head down, whatever path that is, as an example, when I shifted my business and did a complete, really 180, instantly from fitness, which is a physical thing in many people's eyes, to automation, which is a geek thing, software engineering. And it was just, the thing is you have to love what you do so much that you will never stop, no matter what it takes. And what I realized was, I'm starting over. This is like starting brand new business. But the thing is, you can go with the things you've learned from the past businesses and always compile on that. And it took far less time to get this up and running. I've only been a year into this new business model. The perseverance part of it is having that certainty. Getting back to that is certainty. And where do you find that? Through people like Scott, through people like yours truly. When you have somebody who has achieved a level of success that you desire to achieve, that might be the right mentor or coach for you. Reach out to them, ask them if they will help you, and do it professionally and with integrity and respect. And don't just ask for things, maybe offer something, find out what maybe the charitable organizations they're involved in, help them in some way. Everyone needs help. It doesn't matter how much success we've achieved. And then once you have a degree of certainty, you're following that mentor and coach who's achieved success, you're modeling after them. You have a pattern, you have a recipe now. Now perseverance comes in. Now you're certain about your path. And when things knock you back, at least you go, but I'm certain I'm going to get to the finish line, or my degree of certainty is very high. That is very important. And a lot of people miss talking about the certainty aspect of it. If you have that, then you're more likely to keep that perseverance going. So passion and certainty are two keys to succeeding, to go along with perseverance. Those three together, and you can achieve just about anything you want. And I am just now thinking of all this, Scott. I need to write a book about this.
Why not? I mean, I released a new book, and thank you for your support in that, and helping with the contribution to that book. And we all have a book inside of us, so I totally feel you should. I mean, you have such awareness of what you are best at, and that is something that should be shared with the world. So I support you in that notion to write a book, and I think you should. So that's number one. Number two, let's talk about success, because this is especially, you see this in network marketing, that there are people that get into network marketing, they quote unquote drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak, and they are following the direction of their upline or their quote unquote team leader because that's what you're told to do. And then you start having this idea and this vision and picture of what success is. And success is that person that crosses the stage, that is making a boatload of money, and I want to do what they're doing. And for me, I now know, being on both sides of that, that success doesn't look like anything. It's it's not in the size of your bank account. It's not in the make or model of your car, the size of your house or houses. You bring meaning to that. So let's dive into success really quickly and speak to those individuals that maybe are putting too much of what they want to achieve on the shoulders of people that they feel they have to look up to and have to follow, because that's what's being taught in that industry. And maybe a very simple pivot that they can make to truly find their own path to create their own success, and what that means to them.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, your life is yours. That's the most important thing. And yeah, having to follow someone else, that's following a corporate mentality. And that just would show that you have yet to get out of the mindset of the corporate mentality. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a journey. If you're already in corporate and you're making that transition, even if you're not, and you're following someone else's advice to the T and not varying your path, and you're not seeing the success. Here's the thing: if you're not seeing success and you've been following that path for several months and you're not seeing even an ounce of success, then maybe it's time to change. And it's up to you. You own your own life. And if that person that, maybe you've formed a friendship and maybe they will be hurt if you move to a different path. Well, the thing is, they're either with you or they're not with you. So they're either your friend or you're not. And if they get upset and say, I don't agree with you, and they are vehement about it, then it's time for you to sever that friendship. And that's brutal. And I get it. I've done it myself. I fired friends. That's what I call it. I fire your friends. And it's not easy, but it's only the most important thing you can do in your life if you're going to continue to succeed. So you want to take out anything that's toxic in your life. And I'm talking about people that are not helping to lift you, but they are holding you down and pushing you down, whether they recognize it or not. Most people don't recognize that is happening, but it is up to you to be aware, and it's up to you to take care of it, or you're not going to progress in the way you want to, the way you see success, that success, whatever it is for you, it just won't be achievable, or it will be, at the very least, very, very difficult to achieve.
And you've worked with so many people, number one. But number two, with your show, you've spoken to so many successful people. And, obviously the question that you asked me at the end is going to be very similar to the one that I asked you. And it has to do with success. And, something that you shared with me was really interesting, is that, there's never been the same answer. It may have been said in a similar way, but everyone has their own idea of success. So going from being in network marketing for over 2 decades, and then, obviously diving into the live show aspect of what you do, and automation and all of those things, and knowing the power and the importance of human connection, which is obviously something that you also specialize in, because when you interview people, you have to be a good human connector. With all the amazing people that you've had on your show and that you continue to have, what are some things that you've learned about success and about human connection that you feel a lot of entrepreneurs are missing and need to do more of?
That's a great one. Yeah, the one thing that none of the guests on my show, not one of them, define success with the focus of it being defined as money or any amount of money. Like some might say, the moment I hit $2 million in a year, that's when I define success. Now, the reason that is true with my show is, like you mentioned, I interview successful entrepreneurs such as yourself. And that means they've achieved a level of success and they've got a mature business model that they're working in. For those just starting out, it may be a different story. And there's a valid reason for it. And that is, when you're first starting out, you have more of a scarcity mindset because you're just looking to make rent the next month. You need money. Money is on the forefront of your mind when you're first starting out, for many who are doing this on their own. And that's okay. There's a lot of people out there that will shame them for that. It's like, no, it's okay. You got to make money. That's the brutal truth. You have to to survive. So it's okay, but get through that as fast as you can. That would be my advice. And now take it from a money attitude to a servant attitude. And how can I help more people? This is the lifeblood of every entrepreneur I've ever interviewed, Scott, including yourself, is every entrepreneur who is successful or not, but more in the successful realm because they've shaken off that scarcity and then now into abundance. To a person, they just want to help other people. And when they help other people, they get rewarded with money. And the more people you help, the more money you make. But money is not the focus. Yes, it's necessary, but as long as your focus is on serving and helping others, your business will grow manyfold compared to focusing just on the next quick kill, the next sale, the next close. And so you can really catapult your business the faster you get into the servant attitude than in the scarcity attitude of I just need another buck.
So where do you think, especially in network marketing, where do you think this notion and this monetary ego came about where everyone focuses on the dollar? You know, have I made a lot of money in network marketing? Absolutely. I made more money when I was actively building than most people will ever achieve. Did I make, was I a millionaire? No. But the fact is that if people look at the statistics, the top 10% of network marketers make $35,000 a year or more. The top
Yes.
10% of network marketers, and I'll repeat that, make $35,000 a year before. The top 1% make $85,000 a year or more. So where did this whole monetary ego come into play where that's what everyone is chasing? Everyone is chasing the dollar and they're forgetting about the most important thing, which is serving others, which you have to impact people to then influence them to where the income can then show up later. Where did that come from?
Well, I have my opinion on that, and I've been involved in many network marketing opportunities, and I've also co-owned a network marketing company for 6 years from 2000 2006. Doesn't mean I have all the answers, but my opinion on that question is that it is breeded by the culture of the network marketing industry and how the companies all seem to follow a similar model. And it's very money centric. When someone is coming to recruit you, they're not talking about serving others. They're talking about the money you can make. And if you get two and they get two and they get two and they get two, and the compound effect, it's all about the comp plan and the money. And it needs to be more product centric, but more than that, it needs to be more servant centric and say, look, this can truly impact lives and save you pain, grief, whatever the case may be. And then, change the message to be more of change the world, one person at a time versus get in and you're going to make a quick buck. Because those stats, I mean, how many actually even break even, Scott? There's very few that even break even in network marketing. That network marketing is a phenomenal model. It is genius. It's just how it has been for the most part. There are companies out there that do it right. Don't get me wrong. And it's not across the board, but the ones I've been through, they have this very rigid, regimented approach to marketing. And I could go all day about that because I did not agree with 90% of the marketing plans that I had gone through. I'm like, this doesn't work. That's yesterday's approach. You have to keep up with the times. I would create my own marketing and they would shut me down. And then I'm off to the next one. It's like, well, if I can't do it my way, which is working better than the way you guys are prescribing for me anyway, then I'm moving on. It can only do nothing but help your company. And this happened, I'm not kidding you, this happened 6 times. 6 different companies, the same thing. Their marketing plans were, in my opinion, they had issues. They were old school and they didn't work for me. After implementing, I'm like, I'm done with that. I'm going to do my own. And if now I know when I go in, if I'm looking at a company, I'm going to have a talk with the owners right up front and say, are you going to allow flexibility in the way we market to the point where we can actually truly be an entrepreneur? Because they have very confining rules and restrictions, many of them. And I found that too confining and restricting. And that's one of the reasons I left the network marketing industry. And very recently, I dipped my toe back into it. But we can talk about that on a different time because of a different approach that I found 12 years ago that got revitalized. That's a good one. But there are good ones out there.
No, and I think that's so key. And again, what I always try to explain to people, Brian, is that network marketing is a lineage-based business. meaning it's passed down from generation to generation to generation. So it's a one big drip campaign, so to speak. So the person that is leading you was led by someone else, who was led by someone else, who was led by someone else, and whatever was taught from the top down, obviously it's going to be maybe taught in a different way, where obviously people are doing things now online, but it still might have the same foundational piece to it, where it's being done, but just in a different way. And I love your take on that, because, and I share with people all the time, that for you to make the income that you want, you have to impact people in a positive way first, where you can then influence them to get motivated to do something more where they want to impact people. Then the income starts to show up. And network marketing, no matter what entrepreneurship vehicle you're driving in, it's not a quick fix. It's not a lottery ticket. It's one of the best growth experiences you will ever go through. Honestly, in being in entrepreneurship now for almost 23 years, going from brick and mortar to a contracting type business with personal training, and then doing network marketing, and now growing an online business and brand, I wouldn't have it any other way. And I know I'm going to be doing something different a year from now, because with entrepreneurship, it's ever evolving, and you do have to stay up with the time. So that leads me to my next thing. You and I both know network marketers heavily rely on Facebook and Instagram to build their business. And my big thing is LinkedIn. Why do you feel, especially in network marketing, why do you feel a lot of people are so afraid to change with what's going on? And it's apparent, and you and I both know, Facebook has changed over the last 4 or 5 years. Instagram has changed over the last 2 to 3 years. And now we see LinkedIn kind of taking off and thriving because it's for business networking. Why do you feel people are so against change and more or less afraid of it?
Afraid of marketing on social media? Is that
just change? What makes them so afraid of change?
Comfort. That's it. People are comfortable being where they're at because that's where they've been for way too long. And the key is to get out of your comfort zone and to train yourself to do this, not just on occasion, but every single day, habitually. If you're afraid of speaking and being on camera, reach out to Scott and say, I want to be interviewed, and do it right now. Don't wait. You're training your subconscious brain to jump out and do things that are out of the norm. The only way you will ever grow is if you continually get out of your comfort zone, not just once, but continually. Do it once to get started. You're growing then. But if you stop, then your growing is halted. It's all about comfort, in my opinion. And it's also about perceptions, limiting beliefs, things that they believe that are just made up in their own mind. That, if I get on social media, then people will know my personal information. Guess what? If they want to know what your personal information is, it's real easy. I could pay, $10, $15, $20 and get everything about you, prison records if you have them. The information's there. So why not get past these excuses and just get busy and get successful, not just for yourself, but for your family. Look outside of yourself when it comes to who are you affecting, who are you impacting in your life. A lot of us are always looking inward. Well, what is it? What's in it for me? Well, what's in it for your family? What's happening? What are your actions or inactions doing to affect your family? And when you go outside of yourself to the ones you love, then you have greater impact, because won't we often more do for others than we will do for our own selves? And I could go on forever, Scott. We can go way down the rabbit hole. And this is a good rabbit hole. It's light at the end. It's going upward, not downward. But so many wonderful things I've learned over the past couple decades that just have really, really helped in every facet. So the one thing about entrepreneurship, you kind of touched on it. It never changes. It's ever evolving. And that's what I love about it. There is no comfort zone. That's why I like it, because what's happening today is going to be completely different tomorrow. And how do you adjust to that? The way you market today is going to completely change in 10 years. It's been a cycle. It's proven. It's like direct mail pieces used to work, and then they stopped, and then it was all online marketing, and then direct mail came back, and then podcasting came back. Podcasting is one of the oldest technologies that are out there since the internet was born. And I was blown away when I saw how much podcasting had come back into the fray. So follow the trends and, maybe try to be at the beginning of these trends and be, have your ear to the pavement and get a team, bring up a team, start a team, get apprentices, get coaches and mentors that can keep you in the loop. I found out and learned so much, Scott, from my show alone that you can't quantify, you can't put a dollar figure to it. So much improvements have occurred on my business as a direct result of talking to people like you. That would be one of my go-tos is start a live show, start interviewing others in your area, in your niche, and you will learn. The beautiful thing is while you're learning, you're sharing their knowledge with a global audience, all those who are watching as well. So yeah, we could go on all day, brother.
I absolutely agree. And, you know, it's such an interesting thing, people's approach to entrepreneurship and everything else. But here's my big question. You've built network marketing businesses, you've owned a network marketing company, you've been on both sides of the coin. With what you did in network marketing, what do you think was the greatest learning lesson from all of that that has helped you be able to pivot and start building this personal brand that Brian Kelly is building right now, that's enabled you to have the impact that you're now having?
That's a great question. I think it was straight down the path that you had brought up, which for me was realizing that I had to break out of the mold of, I didn't want to be formed by anyone. Like corporate would tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and then show you step by step, and you're just turning a crank at the end of the day. And you get some money out the other end, which didn't fulfill me. And from any business standpoint, network marketing and other, it's all about how much do you want to be in control of your own destiny. That's what it comes down to. And it's what I call it is entrepreneurship for me is in one word, it's liberation. You're free to do what you want, when you want, how you want, because all the decisions you make impact you directly, you, your family, your business, no one else. So a corporation, if they're laying off, that wasn't your decision. You're not in control of that. And now you have to go find another job. And if it's yourself and you're not making bills, then it's all on you, not on someone else. But the contrary is if you are successful, it's all on you because you did the things that were necessary to get there. And you have more control as an entrepreneur than you do as working for someone else. Even in the network marketing industry, again, depending on the company's culture and their guidelines and rules and restrictions, there are those out there still that have enough freedom to enable you to market in ways will work. As long as you're going at it with integrity, or you're following their basic rules that they give you, but you can still be creative and create your own path. And so, yeah, don't get stuck. Unless you're someone who ends up in Scott's organization, follow what he says, find someone that's successful. And, if someone recruits you and they're not that successful, who is their upline? Keep going up the upline to find out who that person is, and then get mentorship by that person, not the person that brought you in, if that's the case.
Yeah.
So yeah, always go for results. That would be the key. Look for evidence of results and then follow those results and learn from those results and just model. The key to success is simply to model it. Find a recipe that works and find a person that knows that recipe. And then what I like to say is grab onto their ankles with both hands and do not let go until you've gotten everything you need. And you're giving back as you do that, of course, always.
Yeah, and not being afraid to reach up. And honestly, if the person at the very top of your organization does not have the time for you, you have to question the type of leader that they are. No one, this whole notion of I'm too busy, right? You and I both know about that word. We hate that word. We like the word productive instead. And people always make time for what they feel is most important to them.
Exactly.
So no matter how down deep you are in that organization and you reach out to the top person and they don't have time for you, you have to start questioning what type of leader they are. And that's the thing. We talk about the monetary ego. Has their monetary ego gotten the best of them? And a good friend of mine mentors someone's mastermind that I was in, Chris Harder. He says your ego will be your greatest overhead. And it's so true. And you can't let that get the best of you. So Brian, as we start to wind down, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about, what you're doing now currently, but also moving into the future, and how they can best connect with you and learn more about all the things that you are currently doing.
Yeah, sure. The crown jewel of what I'm doing at this moment is a live TV show. Many people are doing lives now, and it's called The Mind Body Business Show. It has the in it and show at the end, themindbodybusinessshow.com. And it's been a passion of mine for now going on 2 years. And I love what I get to do. I'm interviewing entrepreneurs on a weekly basis, successful entrepreneurs from all over the world. I have an international supermodel coming on soon. I had an internet marketing multimillionaire that came on. I have people from England and Canada, all over the world, and I've learned so much from these people. I would highly recommend that everyone, I mean everyone that's in business, to get a live show going. I call live shows the genesis of marketing, because you can repurpose from a live on down. You can now have a recorded video, chop it up. You can have it transcribed, repurpose that into books. You can have the audio stripped out and put it on podcast platforms. And that is exactly what I do with this show for my guest experts, to give them the exposure beyond just a live and then one and done. And then the recording's up on Facebook and YouTube or wherever you're going live. But the live is just the very tip of the iceberg. And then from that, I have automation systems behind it, because I could not do this either by myself or even with a team. It would be very difficult. So automation was imperative. And so now that's where my passion went, was person after person who came on my show. When we're done with the show, we're doing the debrief, they're saying, Brian, can you show me how to do what you do? And they're not talking just about the live show, because it's high quality, high graphics, and all, everything is, I do it as professionally as possible and continually to refine. They're also talking about the automation behind the scenes that no one who's viewing the show sees. And that's automated email reminders. And there's a lot of automation under the hood that makes my life much simpler, makes mistakes far fewer, and makes my business way more efficient. And now I have people coming at me left and right. Can you help us automate our business? Yesterday is a perfect example. Another person called up and said, we need help. And it's going to be a huge, huge ride. I'm already working with a news network and maybe an infomercial company very soon, because things have opened up because of passion. But the way to contact me would be through Facebook, and it's under Brian Carl Kelly with a C. That's the best entry to get access. So Brian with an I and Kelly, Kelly. So Brian Carl Kelly would be the best way to connect with me. And I look forward to connecting with you. And I'm also on LinkedIn as well. That's a place I've been spending more time on. So you can also reach out that way as well. Those are the two primary methods so far.
And I can tell you guys firsthand that are listening to this, I was a firsthand experience of the email automation and how simplistic it was to kind of go with it, and very directive as far as, watching a little intro video, sending him this. And it obviously, when you watch and listen to his show, it's not only the actual interview that he does, it's the prep work that goes in behind the interview before it actually happens to make it run as smoothly as it does. So that's just a testament to you and your craft and your expertise. And all of that information will be in the show notes for people to connect with you, which I highly, highly encourage them to do, but also to check out your podcast. It is on all platforms. It's on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, Pocket Cast, which again, that will be in the show notes as well. So, first, Brian, thank you so much for being here today. Just really grateful for you and our friendship and continuing to collaborate the way that we are. And number two and final question, just like yours, there is no wrong answer, and there is a different answer every time. So Brian Kelly, what does success truly mean to you?
Having an impact on other people's lives in a positive manner. And that includes not only my family, but everyone I come in contact with who is open to improving their lives in some way, shape, or form. It's always driven me. The one thing I love to do is help people. And I don't always, my drive is not to help people in every case, in all cases, for a return of some kind. Oftentimes, the best way to assist someone is to do it without any expectations of anything in return. And often I found that's when the biggest rewards come. Not necessarily monetarily. I'm not talking about money. It's about lots of different things. You just never know. And I think God has a plan, and I think we were all designed to help each other, love each other, and boost each other up because, life can be a struggle at times. But yeah, success to me is having, being able to cast my net a little wider, a lot wider, and impact a lot more people in a positive way. And that's why I'm building this new company from the ground up to be able to do that. I think the reach is going to be much wider. It already is in 1 year versus 7 years of the previous fitness business. So the track is a good one. And I'm excited because I get to work with people like you and help people like you, and vice versa. I know that, collaboration is key, and just that human element, like you're talking about so correctly, in my opinion, and eloquently. It's all about the human touch. Automation is key. Personalization is also key. I think the two go together very well. There's not one versus the other. But yeah, helping people, serving more people, that's success to me.
Amazing. And you are doing all that. And just again, thank you so much for being here today. And again, looking forward to more collaborations and continuing our friendship, and for blessing my audience today with all of your knowledge and know-how and passion behind what you do. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So guys, as always, take a screenshot from wherever you are listening to and from, post it on social, IG, Facebook, or Instagram, and LinkedIn. Let us know what you loved, what your takeaways were, what your aha moments were. We would love to hear from you. So please enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you again so much for checking out this week's episode. And if you can, head over to iTunes, search for Network Marketing Made Simple, leave me a 5-star rating, basic review. I would be grateful for all of the support you guys can give me. And again, if you'd be interested in learning more how to utilize LinkedIn to grow your business, your brand, and your bank account, head over to my website, www.scottaaron.net. Fill out the form for your free 15-minute discovery call so I can learn more about you, your business, and how we can work together. And again, thank you guys so much. Grateful for you all, and I'll see you next time.